Topping our lineup this Friday, a complete ban could be next when it comes to incline baby sleepers, why none of these sleepers may be safe. And another concern in the opioid crisis, the dirty needles that are showing up everywhere. We're taking a look at what's being done across the country to address this. And it may seem early, but Walmart's already cutting prices on popular toys as we get closer to the holidays. We're going to get some answers on if these are actually a good deal or if it's just better to hold off on your shopping.
This is the Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. The Indiana mayor trying to run for president is getting some attention tonight. For a campaign event he is attending, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is scheduled to attend a Chicago fundraiser hosted by a former attorney who tried to block the release of video depicting the police shooting death of Laquan McDonald. McDonald was killed in a police shooting in 2014. Steve Patton led Chicago's police department when McDonald's death stirred protest and resulted in an officer's conviction. Buttigieg is scheduled to attend his event tonight. Buttigieg has faced criticism over his handling of race as mayor of South Bend. A newborn was left on the side of the road in Seymour this week, and we've since learned there was a safe haven baby box just a mile away from where that little girl was found. Indiana is leading the way with more than a dozen safe haven baby boxes placed throughout the state. And since the start of the baby boxes in 2016, 3 babies have been dropped at boxes. The Indiana Safe Surrender Law allows Hoosier parents to surrender their baby to someone at a designated location without fear of being charged with abandonment. And a warning from police tonight that you should not be warming up your car without sitting inside it. This sparked by a police chase on the south side involving 3 teens and a stolen pickup truck. It started around 2 this morning at a hotel near 21st and Post Road. Police say the truck was running when the teens hopped in and drove off. The truck's owner told police there was a weapon inside. The chase ended at Garfield Park. Police say this serves as an important reminder to not leave your vehicles running unattended.
I know it's terrible having to go out and get into a cold vehicle, but the extra 5 or 10, 15 minutes of being in a cold car is a lot better than the unfortunate result here, where this gentleman, this victim, has probably several thousands of dollars of damage to his vehicle.
None of the teens were injured, and the truck only suffered minor damage. Kyle.
It was cold out there this morning, Amanda. Some spots even started in the 20s. Most of us in the lower 30s with some of that frost, but all that sunshine we've enjoyed today. Temperatures have bounced back pretty nicely here, and the wind has been pretty light as well. Temperature 61 degrees right now in downtown, 63 in Muncie, Bloomington, and Columbus, and upper 50s right now in Tipton at 59 degrees. Satellite and radar. Things are pretty quiet here. We've got a few of those higher thin cirrus clouds that have been moving on through. Of course, those are not going to be bringing us any rain. We'll keep those skies mostly clear tonight. Only area we've got a frost advisory, Richmond around Connorsville and Liberty into tomorrow morning. The rest of us should stay warm enough. And if you are going to be heading out to some high school football this evening, kickoff temperatures in the middle 50s will drop to around 50 degrees by the end of the game. So make sure you take along that coat. You're going to need it by tomorrow morning. 39 in Frankfort, 40 degrees in Anderson, call it 40 in the city. A little cooler, though, as you work your way into Hamilton County. Some patchy frost possible there. 38 in Columbus, and starting off your weekend at 41 in Spencer. Chris?
I want you to take a look at this face. 4-year-old Beckett, a normal boy in so many ways, last year was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. His mom says the prognosis is good with chemotherapy, but this week they found out that a life-saving cancer drug that Beckett needs might not be available.
That's the backbone to his treatment. So without that, his chances of relapsing are huge.
The drug is called vincristine, and the FDA and Pfizer are working quickly right now. Pfizer is saying today that it's speeding up additional shipments and scaled up production to meet long-term demand. Now, the FDA projecting that it'll be January before supply fully recovers.
It's honestly sad that it even had to come to that was what had to happen for them to agree to it.
What we're doing to families, even when we announce a drug shortage, is inherently unethical and shouldn't be happening today in the U.S.
Dr. Peter Adamson is the chair of Children's Oncology Group. He says this is a worst-case scenario. There's no substitute for this drug. Now, some of the reasons for the shortage, the U.S. recently went down to one supplier. Much of the medication and other similar drugs are made overseas in aging factories. It's part of an ongoing drug shortage that Dr. Adamson says just boils down to economics.
If a company is told, we're going to, you're going to have to fix your factory to meet 2019 standards, and they have to invest a lot of money, when they finish retooling their factory, they're not going to go back to making a $5 drug.
Dr. Adamson says Europe has fewer drug shortages because they pay more for critical generic drugs. Let's turn to the Now News feed. A Pittsburgh synagogue will reopen after a mass shooting there last year. Leaders want to renovate the building to be a symbol against hatred. 11 worshipers were killed in that attack last year. Johnson & Johnson recalling a batch of its baby powder. Small amounts of asbestos were found in it. Now, the company's saying this recall is out of an abundance of caution, saying that it only found subtrace levels in one bottle. Well, concerns surrounding the cranes that are still towering over a collapsed hotel in New Orleans. Crews say the controlled explosions that are needed to take these cranes down won't be ready until tomorrow. Could be some rough weather there the next couple days as well. At least 2 people were killed in that collapse. Still ahead here on The Now, there is a new warning about the dangers of inclined baby sleepers. Ahead, what new testing revealed about these products that are still available in stores.
Mile warranty at Honda of Fishers.
A new investigation by Kaiser Health is revealing that doctors have been upselling 3D mammograms to patients. The investigation found that doctors and medical staff have been telling women that it's much better than traditional mammograms. Taxpayers pay the cost of the 3D mammogram, adds up to about $50 to the cost of a traditional one. Medicare already spent an extra $230 million on the 3D screenings. Now, the National Cancer Institute has yet to conclude that the 3D ones are actually better, and the American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen, and other groups say there's just not enough evidence to prove it. Researchers are now warning safety agencies about the dangers of inclined baby sleepers. The University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences studied babies' movements inside these products. None of the products tested were suitable or safe for infants. They all had an incline of 10 degrees or more. And researchers tell us that if a baby accidentally turns onto their stomach, it is more difficult for them to self-correct or get back onto their backs because of that angle. Now, this can lead to a baby to suffocate because it is blocking their airway. Now, another danger is these sleeper products. They're often soft and plush, and experts say babies really need to be laying on a flat and rigid surface because it will help them to get back into that right position.
And they're using their muscles much more than they probably ever have in this particular way. It can lead to fatigue, so it makes their muscles tired more quickly, which we think probably leads to them not having enough energy, or something similar, a similar scenario, which could have led to the suffocation.
Now, bigger inclines can also cause babies to roll their heads forward or to the side, which can also lead to asphyxiation. Now, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, 59 babies have died in sleepers since 2015. Many sleepers have been banned since then, but there is not a full ban. The Safety Commission will vote on tougher standards next week. Well, we got more to get to here in our lineup here on The Now, and a growing concern in the opioid crisis is the dirty needles that are just showing up everywhere. We're talking playgrounds and beaches, and we're taking a look at what's being done to address this.
RTV6 is working for you.
We do want to warn you about this next story because it does contain some strong images. It's a powerful new video that's educating families about a possible silent problem in their own homes.
The CDC is investigating another death caused by the mysterious virus sweeping the country. It's not yet known exactly how the virus is transmitted.
I don't feel good, Mom. I think I'm coming down with something.
Now, the PSA shows how a young girl's health declines over a mystery illness, then shows her attempting to take her own life. And it's all because of cyberbullying. Monica Lewinsky helped create the PSA in support of Anti-Bullying Month. And we talked to the Cyberbullying Research Center's co-director about something kids can do.
So you collect that evidence, share that with an adult you trust. If it gets to the point where you're really struggling, you're having trouble at school, you don't want to go to school, the behaviors are escalating, consult with an adult you trust to get help with that, but also not to retaliate, not to respond and say mean or hurtful things back.
Experts say that bullying turns into conflict when both parties get involved, and that can make it harder to stop.
It's a lot easier for authorities to deal with, whether those authorities are parents or educators or even the police in the worst case scenario, to deal with if it's very clear that it's a one-way flow of information.
Now, experts say bullying can also be stopped when we encourage young people to stand up for each other. Around 1 in 3 young people report being bullied online. Let's start the Now newsfeed, and the amount of people who identify with a religion is shrinking in the United States. Christianity seeing a huge drop, according to this Pew Research study. Study says 65% of Americans identify as Christian now, which is down from 77% in 2009. Would you be able to make it on a 20-hour flight? Qantas Airlines, well, it's testing the ultra-long route to see just how the body copes. Flight's taking off tonight. It'll fly between New York and Sydney, and that would be the longest nonstop flight in the world. Another episode of When Doing It for the Gram goes wrong because a woman has been banned from taking a Royal Caribbean cruise for life. Well, she was found on the balcony railing of her room, posing for a picture on a cruise ship over the water. All this happening earlier this week off of Haiti. The DEA will accept vaping devices and cartridges for the first time during National Prescription Take-Back Day. This as concerns grow over lung illnesses and deaths linked to vaping. The free Take-Back Day is next Saturday, October 26th. Now, one important thing to keep in mind, that if you're dropping off a vaping device, the DEA cannot take it if it has a lithium-ion battery. There are stores, though, that recycle those batteries if you can't take it out of the device.
Everyone who knows and loves this local girl say her choice for her Make-A-Wish just goes to show how thoughtful and giving she is. Today, Make-A-Wish granted its 17,000th wish to this little girl named Cammie. Her wish was to give the Fishers community an inclusive swing at Holland Park for everyone to enjoy. As you can see, inclusive swings are specially designed for everyone regardless of ability. Cammie's family says she's always thinking of others and how she can help make lives better.
Camden has a passion for helping other people. It's who she is, and it's who she brings out in all of us.
Fishers Mayor Scott Vadnais has declared today Make-A-Wish Day in the city in honor of Cammie and the Make-A-Wish Foundation's wish number 17,000. And a huge contribution to make life better for kids in Central Indiana this week. Amazon presented students from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Indianapolis with a surprise $20,000 check to support the organization's programming that focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math. Kids also got the chance to tour Amazon's Whitestown Fulfillment Center, getting to see STEM principles at work and learning how Amazon fills orders. And are you ready for masses of Girl Scouts to descend on downtown Indy? You better be. It's happening tomorrow. More than 3,000 people, including about 2,800 Girl Scouts, will be taking part in Circle the City at the Indiana State Museum. Nearly 80 exhibits are set up for hands-on activities, including an obstacle course, a mobile virtual reality flight simulation, a virtual reality painting experience, and a workshop on programming Lego robots. The day ends with nearly 900 Girl Scouts having a slumber party, and we hope the weather stays nice for them, Kyle.
Yeah, and Amanda, I do take bribes in the form of Thin Mints. But
I don't blame you.
You know, it is going to be really some pretty nice weather here for them tomorrow and throughout the weekend. Right now, the best way to view that sunshine through the lens and the television there. And we've got some other color here to check out the hills of Brown County. Some pops of fall color as those trees are really starting to get going with changing the color of their leaves. Right now, our temperature 61 in Indy and Lafayette, 60 in Greenwood, and 63 Bloomington to Muncie. Tonight, not going to be quite as chilly, but yeah, you're still going to probably need the heat early in the morning in the car there with that temperature around 40 degrees and partly cloudy skies. The winds will stay light. If you're going to be heading out this weekend, maybe to the orchard, but maybe for picking out that pumpkin, we've got less than 2 weeks now until we get to Halloween. We've got temperatures that'll be in the upper 40s at 10 a.m., but lots of sunshine there. Just going to need to layer up. Not going to need as many layers as we go into the afternoon, with temperatures recovering into the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. Gradually we'll increase that cloud cover. Upper 60s for you in Hendricks County and Danville. Noblesville coming in at 68 and 70 from Bloomington into Columbus. Now, there is going to be a cold front that moves through tomorrow afternoon and evening, but you notice there's really just not going to be a whole lot of rain because our air is fairly dry. So we're expecting to keep things dry here throughout the weekend, and on Sunday we'll actually warm things back up once again as temperatures will start off a little warmer, around 50 degrees, and we'll get into the lower 70s for that afternoon high. Best chance for rain coming our way. Well, this is TrueCast. As we get into our Monday, we'll have some rain throughout the day, possibly a couple of strong to severe storms. We'll keep a close eye on that one for you. This should get out of here and bring in some cooler air as we look ahead toward Tuesday. Next few days of your forecast, as we put it all together, there are those highs in the lower 70s. Enjoy it because it is going to turn breezy and cooler by Tuesday. Behind that storm system, we'll come in with highs only in the upper 50s. Chris?
Used drug needles are a huge concern in the opioid crisis, and they're creating a public health issue across the country. Chloe Nordquist shows us the community approach to getting them off places like playgrounds and beaches.
A lot of kids stepping on needles, especially here at the beaches, which is really sad.
Nancy Holmes is a mother of 4. Her youngest daughter, Ruby, stepped on a needle getting out of the water.
We went right to the doctor.
My solution is to get as many of those things off the ground.
Sharon Dijon was once a drug user herself. Now she volunteers with a number of cleanup groups.
What items do you bring to get rid of needles by yourself?
I bring gloves, puncture-proof gloves, and a sharps container.
The city worker just found an opioid needle here, right over there actually about 5 minutes ago. And it's a public health crisis, in my opinion. I mean, you know, this is a recreational beach that has thousands and thousands of people crossing over it.
There are no federal regulations for getting rid of needles, so local governments have stepped in. Most states have cities with syringe exchange programs or kiosks for disposal.
Right now, it's all the local people that live here that are really working to make it a better place.
The potential dangers haven't stopped Nancy and her kids.
Ruby's totally fine. Okay. Still walking barefoot, just more aware of what's going on in the world.
With photojournalist Andrew Snadicki, I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting.
Chloe, thank you. Bank employees are being trained so customers don't get exploited. AARP research is showing the average victim can lose up to $120,000 to financial exploitation. People can even fall victim to their own family members and friends. So AARP has a program that trains bank tellers on how to spot possible exploitation. Group says it's been able to protect $1 million since that program started. Right now, adults across the country are dealing with more than $1 trillion worth of student debt. Now, while many people are struggling to pay back their loans, this next part might get you a little bit upset because executives at Sallie Mae are flying their employees to Hawaii to celebrate record sales. Sallie Mae's CEO telling NBC News they plan retreats for their employees every year. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau wants to look into the Education Department's loan forgiveness program. This is a program that aims to help police, military service members, teachers, and people who work for nonprofits. Program has rejected 99% of applicants who say they have followed the procedure to get their student loans forgiven. Some senators want the Bureau to look into student loan companies that have supposedly given borrowers wrong information about the program. Let's start the Now News feed. History in space this morning. 2 astronauts on the first all-female spacewalk. They replaced a battery unit on the International Space Station. The two had trained together for the last 6 years. Well, you could see the price of wine and cheese go up at the store soon. U.S. tariffs on $7.5 billion of European goods went into effect today. Europe's threatening to retaliate. Well, Battle of the Beers, Anheuser-Busch accusing a Miller Coors employee of getting its secret recipes. Busch saying it happened around the Super Bowl. Well, there is an ongoing search for buried World War II battleships deep in the Pacific Ocean. Underwater robots discovering a Japanese aircraft carrier that sunk during the Battle of Midway. Until now, only one of the 7 ships that went down during the 1942 battle had been found.
When you see these wrecks on the bottom of the ocean and everything, you kind of get a feel for what the real price is for war. You see the damage these things took, and you know, it's humbling to watch some of the video of these vessels because, you know, they're war graves.
Now, this is part of a project with the U.S. Navy because it is otherwise illegal to disturb underwater military grave sites. The exact coordinates of these ships are kept secret. Well, finally, in our lineup here on the Now, Walmart's already cutting prices on popular toys as we head towards the holiday season. So we're going to get some answers on if these are really good deals or if it's still better to hold off on your shopping.